Symbols always cause a lot of controversy, and is it time to raise the Canadian flags? Obviously a contentious conversation, with Remembrance Day coming up on November 11th, next week, which is just next week. Now remember, the Canadian flags at key federal buildings have been flying half-mast since May, just after the remains of Indigenous children were found at the former residential institution in Kamloops. Now the Royal Canadian Legion says it plans to raise the flag at the National War Memorial on November 11th and then immediately lower it to half-mast. Aaron O'Toole, the leader of the Conservative Party, penned a column in a newspaper saying it's time to raise the flags now. The leader of the Conservative Party argues raising the flag is a symbol of unity and reconciliation. Should the flag stay at half-mast until November 11th? Is it time to raise them? What happens after Remembrance Day? Joining me now is the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations Chief, Bobby Cameron. Pleasure, Chief, always to have you on the program. Congratulations, by the way, on being re-elected and also for pulling over for this interview, because I don't want you interviewing and driving. Chief, what's your take about the Remembrance Day issue and when the flag should be raised back up?
Yeah, before I get into further comments, I want to make something really crystal clear for all the viewers, and for those that don't understand or don't acknowledge or recognize what it means to be a treaty Indian here in Canada. It was one of our treaty rights, exemption from warfare. That was one of our treaty rights that our ancestors of the signed treaty. But you know as well as I do, there were thousands of First Nation war veterans who wanted to and chose on their own to defend their country, protect their families, and love their families. They did so in the greater good of things, in the greater good of this country and humankind. So what it means to lower flags or raise flags, I'm going to be honest. In the grand scheme of things, raising the flags or lowering the flags is just a small piece in the puzzle for First Nations people, because we have so many outstanding issues: the housing crisis on reserve, the restorative justice, the mistreatment of First Nation people right across this country in the healthcare system. Major changes have to happen, and just hearing Trudeau's comments earlier on lowering the flags and raising them, well, that's just a piece of the puzzle, Prime Minister Trudeau. You must do more, and you must work directly with First Nations and hear them out directly from the First Nation leadership at the First Nation level.
Yeah, Chief, I think what you're saying is an important nuance, that we don't want to make the conversation about these complex issues, the recovery of the unmarked graves, reconciliation, land treaties, the many issues that you've raised, all emblematic with the raising and lowering of the flag. But if, for example, the flag is raised and then lowered on Remembrance Day, just on that particular issue, because it's become something of a symbol, if it then goes back up and is raised and then maybe lowered to half-mast on the next Day of Remembrance for Truth and Reconciliation, what would you think about that?
Well, we acknowledge the symbolism of it all, and we thank them, but let's not let it end there. Let's let the important work to continue for First Nation people. That's much more important to our people. Implementing Bill C-92, getting our children where they rightfully belong. All these are important items that are the meat and potatoes, so to say, for our First Nations right across this country. Let that important work continue. Let's not let it end with the raising and lowering of flags.
Yeah, it's a great perspective. Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations Chief Bobby Cameron. I always appreciate you pulling over and taking the time to talk to us and sharing your perspective. Stay safe, Chief. Great to have you on the program. Thank you, sir.